Hey, I figured I'd do a follow-up real quick to the last video I had, just real quick. So here's the previous trend line that we were on, currently now broken. Here's a new one that I'm supposing that we're on, right? But what I want to get on about is there's a couple others that we need to watch out for, and this is one, for example, if you notice it's carrying the underside of the wicks here. And then this one here. But I'll zoom in for that one, and then this one over here, which the reason why is if you notice these two wicks bottomed out there along with this wick right here stopping out there. So I wanted to bring those to attention, and then obviously our first initial trend line is now kind of going to act as a resistance as well. I'm going to zoom in to continue talking about something that I see as really ridiculous important, which is the 20 EMA, the previous support trend line up that carried this whole thing is now breaking down. We're under it, so now that might act as a resistance. Obviously I have these two intersections here as well, which were from, if you notice, they're more from like the daily time frame, with this wick coming down all the way here, for example, and these two touching it over here. And then this one looks like a mini trend within the big trend, right? More of a daily trend, if you will. So we have a couple things working against this whole thing. Honestly, I think it's going to be key to watch two areas. The first one's going to be at this right here at this meetup. It's going to be an EMA and these two trend lines, which I would call it about 40.65, right? So so the first one, $40.65 area, right? Sorry, I was pulling out the marker tool. And then the other one I would probably focus on is there seems to be a possible supply area up here now, because obviously we started this bear rally down. We got to be careful about around 40, I'd say 41.80. So that'd be 41.80 is very key if we were to break out past that 40.65 zone. And the reason why is, again, that's the previous macro, the huge trend line that we were once riding up. That's the meeting of the 20 EMA, and that I would be fair to say is around a supply zone right now. So I would either expect, and I'm going to doodle this on here soon, one more time, 40.65 for here. And what I'm expecting a little bit is possible up to here to 40.65 area and then rejection downward, or either further up if we break past that and then rejection downward. For now, for the short term, going into the OPEX. After that, we'll see obviously if we get anywhere higher within the trend, because obviously I spoke about this last time, but we could get up to here and it would still be considered a bear market if we got up higher and then rejected down. But I hope you guys have a good weekend going into next week. This is what I'm going to be looking for, the two zones I mentioned. And then another one, which it looks crazy, is if you zoom way out on this one. You know, there's a little, little shape here forming, kind of want to be cup and handles. So I'm going to be watching this price about 170, 120. And then the last one, which I mentioned, is this one. I'll bring up some other ideas as I find them, because I'm still querying trading ticks. But this one is criminal right now. I feel I'm not a big fan of TLT or anything, but it feels like it's a double bottom on the monthly, which is huge to me. And it also feels like it's super oversold on RSI. Obviously, even if you look at it zooming out, it's crazy. And I think it's at the bottom of what looks like to be a possible channel, so I'm expecting some movement upward at some point here. I'm gonna keep watch on it. I would obviously put in a stop loss at this area, the same area that I'm watching here, right? This would be my stop loss, and then I'd probably go long if it breaks past like 117. I'd more like 118 upward and it has good flow or whatnot. But this wick is going to be very determining for me. Like basically I won't play out of the range of this wick right now, because if it were to fail this trend line, then that's super bearish, and obviously it's going to lose you a lot of money if you're long. So just keeping watch. Like I said, I'll try to share other ideas as I find them, because I still have yet to dig into Trady Ticks tonight and a couple other charts. But I figured I'd share these 3 that I believe are like bigger picture macro charts. And obviously if we get rejected on SPX, and gold tends to trend upward, because it's like everyone flocks to commodities and safe havens and stuff. But good luck, and we'll see what this week brings.